heavy rains have lashed large parts of North India on Sunday, and it continues also. And for those who are watching this broadcast, safe at home, good for you. If from your workplaces, then I'm not sure how you travel to that, but ask us, those living in Delhi and NCR, it was quite a ride, and especially yesterday also wasn't an easy ride. With rivers in spate, urban infrastructure buckling down under the weight of the incessant downpour, the worst damage came from the hill states of Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir, with homes and shops, even a section of the National Highway 3 to Manali being submerged in rivers, with the administration sounding warning for people to stay off the roads and take shelter. Now, this is the core of discussion that we are continuing today. The visuals on your screen from Himachal Pradesh, look at it, unbelievable. We have seen these graphics created calamity scenes in the movies like 2012, which spoke of annihilation because of the floods, but now look at this, all those things becoming real. Somehow, what is the reason behind it? Who is to blame? Finger pointing, something that starts right from the word go. But, I mean, for these houses to go down like that in Parwanu in Himachal Pradesh, this is not something that has happened in one day or two, maybe over the years, maybe over years and years again. And obviously, the lives that are lost, the way nature is responding, there's a lot that leads us to discuss it in detail. Talking about Himachal Pradesh, I mean, we have unfortunately seen issues of flash floods. We have seen, what happened in the temple town also in Uttarakhand when nature's fury, completely took everyone by surprise. Himachal still, had been a safer or a stronger hilly region, if I may say so, before these visuals came, I would say. What are the reasons that Himachal Pradesh also, which I think faces equal number of footfalls, be it tourists, the houses that are being built by the banks of the rivers also, what has happened all these years that suddenly this situation has arrived?
Yes, you are right in saying that Uttarakhand is a younger range of mountains than Himachal. Himachal are the older mountains and they are stronger than the mountains in Uttarakhand. And as I said, that this is something that has been happening, but at this scale, it is very, very scary to see all these visuals, and this has not happened earlier. So, first of all, let me tell you some figures that I have received a few minutes back. It says 365 crores of loss Himachal has suffered until now, and in last 24 hours, 15 people have died. 800 roads have been, more than 800 roads, 828 precisely, roads have been closed, and 1,000 bus routes had to be cancelled.
Right.
This is what has happened in Himachal Pradesh. So, if I talk about my place, my native place, so my parents are staying there alone. They have no way to come out of that place in any case of emergency. So this is the state of affairs that is not only at that place, but every interior place in Himachal.
Right.
So they cannot. I was trying to contact them since yesterday. I could not connect them because communication was down. I could connect them to them a few hours back only.
Right.
So this is what is happening. So why is it happening? As I told you, because I gave you an example of the 4-lane road that came from Solan to Shimla. Though I don't know whether it is required or not.
But still
policy planners may know it better. But it is not functioning as a 4-lane road.
Not functioning
as a 4-lane road, and the development, the construction activity that is going on, unplanned construction is going on. Small towns, there are very small towns that are getting more and more crowded. No drains are there, and there is no planning. If some construction is taking place, and the sewage water that will come out of those houses, how will it go into the drains? How will you dispose the water off? So I'll give you one more example from my place only. There is a road which comes from a civil hospital to a local market. So there's a road. It should be around 10 to 15 feet broad road. So because there is no drainage system, it turns into a river. You cannot say, after watching the visuals, you won't be able to make out that this is a road. It will look like that it is a river. So it is lack of.
How ironic! How ironic it is. I mean, people go to Himachal, people go to Shimla,
and they will not do anything.
Right. I mean, again, civic apathy is something which obviously is at the back of this, and this civic apathy coupled with our own ignorance. Nivedita, it infuriates anyone as an individual also, like Nivriti, unable to connect with her parents. Obviously a cause of concern, and we wish that you connect with them as soon as possible and wish them safe stay there. It infuriates me as an individual, it infuriates me as a journalist also. We have known you, Nivedita, when you share details pertaining to global warming, what the world is thinking about it, what India is doing about it. We have extreme cold, we have extreme heat, then we have extreme rain, and now landslide and everything. But when you think that, all this churning that journalists do, they are doing their due diligence, informing the people, at the core of it, the implementation part is compromised. Where does this leave us? I mean, I am surprised when I hear Mr. Ravindran also that many of his recommendations and the panel's recommendations are just left, unnoticed.
Yes.
How ironic.
Recommendations are not paid heed to, that's one. And another point which I made earlier, I'll give you an example related to that for Delhi itself. For instance, Delhi roads are made, the main PWD roads are made for tolerating or taking care of 25 millimeter rain per hour.
Okay.
So if it rains beyond it, there's going to be water logging. But that water will be going to some place after some time. Now we have seen the visuals where the underpasses are flooded.
We can have Delhi visuals also, please.
Yes. So the underpasses are supposed to have submersible pumps, and they are supposed to be operational the moment flooding starts.
Right.
So one, whether those underpasses are having enough pumps, it starts with that.
Right.
So most of the places the pumps were missing. Second, if the pumps are there, they are functional? So most of the time, many of the pumps would not be functional. Third, the pumps are supposed to take away the water from the underpass to some discharge point.
Right.
If that discharge point is far away enough, then that water is not coming back to the underpass. Otherwise, that water comes back again if it's discharged nearby. So these are the factors which are very carefully needed to be planned while constructing that, and if not done, for whatever one of the things fails in this chain, then we have the visuals like the newly built Pragati Maidan underpass flooded and not useful.
I was about to come to that, and not far away from Pragati Maidan underpass, this is once again Lutyens, Delhi, this is Akbar Road.
Yes.
And this video was shot from inside the car, and the water was actually reaching the wipers.
Correct.
So, I mean, that is the scenario in central Delhi.
So and Delhi unfortunately has another problem. We are the national capital. So there is a small portion, approximately 3% of the area of total national capital territory, that is the New Delhi area.
Right.
Then we have the MCD area. Roads are also constructed by PWD. Then there is a lot of colonies and also many drains that are managed by DDA. So when it comes to managing the drains, it's 4 agencies here to start with. Then we have the drainage master plan, which goes back to 1976, which was supposed to be updated long back, which was not done. It's being done right now as we speak. Only 2021 they gave a go ahead to come up with a new.
Yes.
And that too is a very slow process. So it will be another 2, 3, 4 years when we actually have that master plan in place. So we have this 76 master plan when the population and the colonies in Delhi were
few,
less than
yes.
half of what
Yes,
we have
yes,
now.
yes, yes.
So extra population growth, extra road length, extra drainage, everything, but the master plan is still old.
Mr. Ravindran, Delhi, most of the time we stuck to Himachal Pradesh, but I knew when it comes to Delhi, things become political also. But politics aside, these visuals tell the story in itself. No matter how much effort or explanation MCD, the CM, or anyone can give, this is something which can't have any excuse. In your opinion, if you had to make a recommendation today or a few recommendations today to those the powers may be, what would it be to save Delhi from such scenario?
I think the first suggestion I would make is to develop a water management master plan. Not a master plan which is looking at how to distribute, investments on land parcels in Delhi, but a master plan which looks exclusively at the remedying of this specific problem of this flooding. As you can see, we've built large number of underpasses in very close proximity to the river, where the water table is already high. Pragati Maidan, for instance, where this huge underpass has been built, was actually a low-lying area before it was developed. If you look at the landform in Delhi, starting in the south from, the south from Nizamuddin East to Salimgarh Fort, which is further north of the Red Fort, that entire patch of land on the eastern side of the Mathura road was actually a swampy area. And there were only far and few developments which were situated in this on areas where landform was high. Like, for instance, you have the Salimgarh Fort itself, you have the Red Fort, you have the Firoz Shah Kotla, you have Madka Pir, you have ITO area where the landform is high. And all those developments were on top of that landform, including Humayun Stoke is lying on a high landform.
Right.
Now, if you look at the development now, it's happening all over without paying any heed to the land profile. And there is no way we can get away from this problem if we don't address the issue of land profile. Because you cannot work against gravity. You cannot work against the flow of water. You have to work with water.
Yes.
Now, I would recommend that immediately an action plan should be drawn up for stormwater management as well as all kinds of water management, including water supply, including treatment of sewage, and including the flood flow. There should be a plan which exclusively deals only with water flows. And that can be done by a joint effort by using from DDA to the irrigation department to Delhi government to central government to the municipalities. Every one of these organizations have to be involved in, and disaster management organization. All of them need to be involved in it jointly to prepare a flood-related disaster management plan.
Right.
This should be given priority even before we run after the new master plan, which then becomes only an investment planning proposal.
Right. Mr. Ravindran, I mean, we keep referring to, the past and what we used to see a couple of decades earlier in Delhi. There was only one visual that used to flank all the TV screens and newspapers. The few, news channels that we had 20 years ago was that of Minto Bridge in Delhi. Now, there are so many of them, it's hard to even imagine. Any model from outside India that you think can be implemented in a landlocked city or a city like Delhi for that matter?
Perhaps the only place which has attempted something like this is Japan. In Japan, in Tokyo, you have huge underground surface water drainage channels which are built, which finally takes the water out of central areas into the low-lying areas or to the river. Now, there are two types of floods that happen. One is when the water level rises in the river, which is the lowest point of the city, and the other is the obstruction of water flow from land to the river by development. I emphasize the fact by development because all the infrastructure, for instance, take the case of the ring road, the idea of a ring road. Every city that any town planner touches today is first given a ring road. And what is a ring road? A ring road is actually a noose around the city to prevent flow of water from the city outwards into its periphery or into the rivers.
Okay.
So, but this is, we are having third or fourth ring road coming up in Delhi. So at the NCR level, we need to tackle this issue of larger flows of water. There are studies done in the NCR by the NCR board, but I think that study has been just put on the shelf.
Right.
There were very interesting studies done on the entire water flows in the NCR, done by, I remember, Professor Ashish Moitra from SPA had drawn up the plan. He was the head of the environmental planning department. And that plan has never seen the light of day. It was never implemented.
Well, Mr. Ravindran, not with satisfaction, but with a heavy heart, one would say that this situation is not just of the national capital. Yes, it's a tag that Delhi is the national capital, but situation is not very different when we talk about, say, a Bengaluru or for that matter, Chennai. Nivriti, I remember 2020 it was, or 21, I think we were entering from 21 to 22, and Chennai suddenly, one fine morning, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, because not many people were there at work that day when we were there in one of the Noida news channels, and suddenly the water and the rain fury that increased within hours, that everyone started covering suddenly Chennai rains. It was unprecedented once again in my limited career, and I'm sure for the viewers also. We were taken aback. We had never heard that Chennai would drown or there would be floods in Chennai, and of that proportion, even worse than this.
That too, it was December 2021.
December 20. That's why I know it was an intervening period of a New Year change, something of that sort. Nivriti, I mean, before I come to Nivedita, I mean, in such scenarios, do you believe that it is the awareness also of the people that needs to be increased, the demand, the voting, it should become a reason for vote. I mean, we talk about issues, so we talk about job, we talk about development. No one talks about the fallout of these developments also. Do we need to, how do we make people aware of that?
Exactly. This is very rightly you have said that we don't understand that this is also an issue unless we face it during the monsoon or some climate calamity. Makes us aware and makes us जागो. आप जागो, अब आपके साथ ऐसा हो गया है तो अब आप आवाज़ उठाओ. तो उससे तो कुछ नहीं होगा ना. आपको आवाज़ उठानी पड़ेगी जब आपको लगता है कि आपके इलाके में ऐसी समस्या आएगी, या इलाका भी नहीं, आप ये कहिए कि अब पूरी दुनिया की ही बात हो गई है ना. It is related to entire world, not even India, but India is one of the countries which will be worst affected due to climate change because of its coastal areas, a lot of coastal areas.
About it also.
And we have, you must have heard about Sat Bhaya. It was a village. Sat Bhaya is a village. It was a confluence of, 6-7 villages that have drowned now, and it was a very beautiful civilization in Odisha.
Coastal area.
It is not anymore there. You will just find a hand pump which springs out of the sea, and it makes you believe that yes, there was a village, there were 7 villages there, but now they're not there and people have migrated. And you should know that, you must be knowing, I'm sure, that migration is also the impact. Migration also takes place due to climate change. Uttarakhand is one of the states, and Uttarakhand is worst affected because of climate change and incidents like this, weather incidents.
So people
like
have
this.
Started coming there.
They
to
have started migrating from the places that are affected from climate change because of heavy rain. And because entire villages have been swept away because they cannot do agriculture because of climate change in their areas. Farming conditions have changed. So all these things are to be kept in mind, and people should be made aware. People, while they construct their homes in their native place, there should be a sense of responsibility that yes, I have to follow some rules and I have to make it the way environment allows, and there should be some sustainable development on part of citizens as well.
Definitely, Nivriti. Nivedita, how crucial are they, the national water bodies, and tampering with them? We saw what happened in Bangalore.
Yes, unfortunately the problem is not restricted to Bangalore. We showcased 4 cities in our report, and unfortunately beyond those 4 cities, Delhi, Bengaluru, Hyderabad and Kolkata, problem continues across India. There was a map in the story which showed how extreme weather events have been increasing, especially extreme rainfall events. And then that same map also showed the number of water bodies that are going missing in those places. Just today's data, if I have to quote, National Remote Sensing Center, they have come up, this is in Bangalore News, 65 lakes, imagine 65 lakes in Bangalore have vanished over last 20 years.
Wow.
Now you can't, expect that these lakes vanished means they have evaporated. No. They have been built over. They have been encroached either
concretized
at places like Yemluru, these are posh planned colonies, or illegally encroached. As many as 65. Delhi once had more than 1,000 lakes till 100 years ago. Today, officially there are only 629, and of them not all are full to the brim, not all are functional lakes, many of them are like this. So unfortunately the lakes that can absorb additional water through these extreme rainfall events
are not there.
They are not there to absorb. So naturally you will have urban flooding.
What a critical connect there. Mr. Ravindran, now final word from you. The situation obviously is not changing, as Nivriti also mentioned. Nivriti also did a report on Yamuna and its pollutants, coming that we can always watch that episode, Poison on Your Plate, on News9 Plus. But final word from you, Mr. Ravindran. Is this just the tip of the iceberg and we are going to see more such scenarios in the days to come?
I think most certainly we are going to see worsening conditions because, as we all know, issues of climate change, which we have not discussed here at all, is the underlying factor for the frequency and the quantum of floods that we have. We have not discussed those issues at all. But those are very little actionable as far as local area planning is not concerned. But to the extent possible, we are not even making that attempt in India. And you look at the different cities that you showcased, every one of the city actually has a different reason for its flooding. Delhi has a reason where we have not planned the city as per the slopes of the land. We have planned infrastructure against the slopes of the land. Everything that goes into the river has been obstructed by either ring roads, railway lines, or authorized and unauthorized developments which block the flow. If we look at Bangalore, as was rightly pointed out, it's the closing down of a large number of lakes in the entire sub-region of Bangalore, which led to the flooding of Bangalore, which leads continuously to flooding of Bangalore. If we look at the issue of Chennai, it's a totally different reason. It is the regional plan which failed Chennai. If you look at the regional plan for Chennai, the whole landmass is actually sloping from the eastern Ghats to the Chennai coast through 3 different districts. And the development of this entire catchment area by industrialization, huge plots of land are given to the car industry, to engineering colleges, to medical colleges, to various other kinds of development issues within this catchment area of the lakes. And therefore the capacity of the lakes have come down and finally it all flows into the city. So you have a huge amount of water coming in because of poor regional planning in Chennai. And I'm sorry to say this issue has not been confronted or dealt with in any master plan in Chennai till now.